All right, everyone, get ready, because today we are going deep on something I think we all struggle with, at least a little bit. We're going to tackle limiting beliefs, those sneaky things that hold us back from really going for it in life. And to help us map out this tricky terrain, we'll be pulling wisdom from How to Remove Limiting Beliefs and Manifest with Confidence by Remez Sasson. So let's dive in.
Yeah, these limiting beliefs are kind of like I don't know, they're like invisible barriers in our minds. You can't see them, but they're totally there, shaping how we think and act without us even realizing it. It's almost like they're running the show behind the scenes.
So wait, are you saying it's not just about, thinking positive thoughts? There's actual science behind how these beliefs get so stuck in our heads.
Oh, absolutely. Think of it this way. Every time we think a thought, especially if it has a strong emotion tied to it, it's like we're carving a path in our brains. And the more we think that same thought, the deeper that path gets, almost a well-worn groove. So if we keep telling ourselves, I'm not good at this or I'll never be able to do that, we're basically digging a rut for ourselves.
Okay, so it's like we're building these mental highways for self-doubt.
Wow.
Wow. So how do we even begin to identify these hidden beliefs? They're lurking in our subconscious, right?
Right, they can be tricky to spot. That's why the book lays out this four-step process. First, we have to pay close attention to our thoughts, especially those that come up when we think about our goals and dreams.
Okay, so let's say my dream is to finally write that novel I've always talked about. But every time I sit down to write, I hear this voice saying, "You're not a real writer," or "This is never going to work." Is that what you mean?
Yep, that's a classic sign. Those feelings of fear or doubt, that's a clue that a limiting belief might be at play. And the important thing here is not to judge yourself for having these thoughts. Just notice them.
Okay, got it. Observe, don't judge. But how do we figure out if that fear is legit, like a realistic concern about the challenges of writing, or if it's just a limiting belief trying to trip us up?
That's where the second step comes in. We got to question those thoughts. Don't just accept them as truth, put them on trial. Ask yourself, is there any real evidence to back this up? Or what's the worst that could happen if this is true?
Right, so it's like we're playing detective with our own minds. We need to gather the facts and see if these beliefs actually hold any weight.
Exactly. And a lot of times, we'll find that these beliefs came from somewhere. Maybe it was something someone told us or a bad experience we had,
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
I remember in high school, I totally bombed this presentation and everyone laughed. From that point on, I convinced myself I was terrible at public speaking, which is funny because, well, here I am hosting a podcast now, so clearly that belief wasn't really serving me anymore.
That's a great point. Just because something happened in the past, it doesn't mean it has to define our future, right? So we've observed the thoughts, questioned their validity. What's next?
Well, if we're going to break free from these limiting beliefs, we need to know where they came from, right? Was it something someone said or a specific experience that planted the seed?
Yes. That's step 3. We got to trace it back to the source. It's like figuring out who planted the weed in our mental garden.
And that's got to be empowering, right?
Yeah.
Because once we see that a belief isn't some universal truth, but maybe just like our dad's opinion or one bad audition, it loses its power over us.
Absolutely. It becomes just a thought, not a fact. And once we realize that, we can start to challenge it. So we've done the detective work, identified a limiting belief. Now what?
Now comes the fun part. How do we actually get rid of it?
All right, well, that's where things get really interesting. We're going to dive into reprogramming our subconscious mind.
Bring on the brain makeover. I'm ready to upgrade those thought patterns.
Welcome back, everyone. Before we jump into this whole reprogramming thing, I think it's important to address something you just said. You mentioned some beliefs feeling so ingrained, like they're part of who you are.
Yeah, like they're baked into my DNA or something. It can feel that way sometimes.
And that feeling is totally valid, but here's the cool thing. Even those deeply rooted beliefs, they can change. Our brains are way more adaptable than we give them credit for. Have you ever heard of neuroplasticity?
Okay, neuroplasticity, yeah, that rings a bell. But could you give us a little refresher on what that means exactly?
Sure, it basically means that our brains are constantly changing and forming new connections based on our experiences, and even more importantly, our thoughts. Like, imagine your brain as this constantly evolving landscape, paths being formed and reshaped all the time.
So we're not stuck with the same old brain wiring we had as kids. That's a huge relief. But how do we actually use this neuroplasticity thing to reprogram those stubborn beliefs?
That's where these techniques we're talking about come in. Affirmations, visualization, they might sound a little out there, but they're actually based on science.
Okay, I'm listening. I have to admit, I'm a little skeptical, but I'm willing to be convinced.
Remember how we were talking about those thought pathways getting stronger with repetition? Well, affirmations work on that same principle. When you repeat a positive statement, like, I am capable of achieving my goals, you're creating new, stronger pathways in your brain.
So it's like we're trading in that old bumpy dirt road of I'm not good enough for a smooth paved highway of I am awesome.
Exactly. And the more you travel down that new highway, the easier it becomes to stay on track, you know?
This is making a lot of sense. What about visualization? How does that play into all of this?
Visualization is powerful because it taps into our emotions. When you imagine yourself succeeding, really feeling that joy and satisfaction, you're basically telling your subconscious mind, hey, this is possible. This is going to happen.
So it's not just daydreaming. It's like creating a whole movie trailer for your dream life with you as the star.
Exactly. Make it vivid, engage all your senses. The more real it feels, the more powerful the impact.
I love it. Okay, but let's be real for a second. It can't just be about thinking happy thoughts and picturing ourselves winning at life.
Right.
We have to actually, do stuff too.
You're so right. Affirmations and visualizations are amazing, but they work best when we take action. Think of it like having this amazing sports car with a powerful engine, but it won't go anywhere unless you put it in gear and hit the gas.
So how do we bridge that gap between thought and action? How do we turn those positive vibes into real-world results?
It's about taking steps that are aligned with those new beliefs. If you believe in abundance, start by being more generous. If you believe you're worthy of love, practice self-compassion. Little things like that.
So it's about those small, consistent actions that show our subconscious mind, hey, this is a new reality. We're serious about this.
Exactly. Every step you take reinforces those new beliefs, makes them more real. It's like building a bridge from where you are to where you want to be.
I can see how this all fits together now. But what about those times when those old limiting beliefs creep back in? Those days when you wake up feeling like you've taken 10 steps back.
That happens to all of us. It's so normal. This is a journey, not a race. You can have setbacks, moments of doubt. That's totally okay. The important thing is to have a plan for dealing with them.
Okay, give me those strategies. I need a game plan for when self-sabotage comes knocking.
Well, remember that catch and replace technique we talked about? That's your secret weapon. The second you notice a negative thought creeping in, boom, replace it with an affirmation or a positive belief.
So we're basically training our minds to be like thought ninjas, deflecting negativity with a quick move.
I like that. And another important thing is to create an environment that supports your new beliefs.
What does that look like? Give us some examples.
Surround yourself with people who lift you up, who believe in you. Read books and listen to podcasts that reinforce that positive mindset. Even just creating a physical space that inspires you, it all makes a difference.
So we're talking about an internal and external makeover, a full-on positivity upgrade.
Exactly. And don't underestimate the power of mindfulness and gratitude. Taking time to appreciate the good things in your life can really shift your energy.
It's like hitting the reset button on negativity. This is all making so much sense. But is there any actual science backing all this up? Does positive thinking really have that much power?
Oh, there's definitely some fascinating science behind this. Have you ever heard of quantum physics?
Oh boy, here we go. Take us down the rabbit hole.
All right, well, to keep it simple, quantum physics suggests that everything, including our thoughts, is made up of energy. And our thoughts and beliefs actually have their own vibrations, which can interact with the energy around us.
Wait, are you saying our thoughts can actually influence the world around us?
That's exactly what I'm saying. Think of it like a pebble being dropped in a pond. It creates ripples that spread outwards, right? Our thoughts are kind of like that. They send out these ripples of energy.
Okay, so this is how it all ties into manifestation. We're focusing on positive thoughts and beliefs, and that's sending out a signal that attracts more of the same back to us.
Precisely. It's about becoming a vibrational match for the things we want to attract. Like attracts like.
Wow, this is mind-blowing stuff. But what about free will? Do we really have any control over what we manifest?
The age-old question. It's a mystery, for sure. But here's what I believe. We always have a choice in what we think. And those choices have a huge impact on our energy, and that ultimately shapes our reality.
So it's not about passively wishing for things to magically appear. It's about consciously choosing thoughts and beliefs that align with what we want, and then taking action to make it happen.
That's it. Taking responsibility for our inner world and understanding how it influences our experiences.
This is so much more than just positive thinking. It's like a whole new way of being in the world. I'm starting to see the potential here.
It is exciting, isn't it? It's about realizing the power we have to create the life we want.
This has been an awesome conversation. I feel like I just leveled up my understanding of manifestation big time.
I'm glad to hear that. We've covered a lot of ground today, but before we wrap up, I want to leave you with some practical tips you can start using right away to break free from those limiting beliefs and start creating the life you truly desire. All right, so let's get practical. Where do we even start with all of this?
Yeah, give us the roadmap. How do we take all this amazing info and actually make it work for us in real life?
Well, the first thing is awareness. You got to start paying attention to those negative thoughts when they pop up. Don't beat yourself up about it. Just notice them. Kind of like, that's interesting. There's that thought again. What's it trying to tell me?
So we're basically becoming thought detectives, figuring out the clues to our own minds.
Exactly. And once you've got a handle on some of those key limiting beliefs, it's time to put them on trial. Really question them. Is this belief actually true? What proof do I have? And what's the worst that could happen if it is true?
I love that it's like we're cross-examining our own negative thoughts, seeing if they hold up under pressure.
And a lot of times you'll realize those beliefs are based on old stuff, fears, assumptions that might not even be true anymore. And once you start to see those cracks in the foundation, you can start replacing them with something better.
Which is where those affirmations come in.
You got it. Pick affirmations that really speak to you. Write them down, say them out loud, repeat them over and over. Even if you don't fully believe them at first, just keep practicing.
So it's not about faking it till you make it. It's more like practicing it till you believe it.
That's a great way to put it. Remember, repetition is key. The more you affirm those positive statements, the more you're wiring your brain for success and abundance, all those good things.
And don't forget about visualization. I am such a fan of vision boards, or even just spending a few minutes a day daydreaming about my goals.
Visualizing is super powerful because it gets our emotions involved. When you really picture yourself achieving your goals and feel that joy, it sends a strong signal to your subconscious mind that, hey, this is totally possible, this can happen.
It's like we're creating a mental blueprint for our dreams.
Exactly. But here's the thing. Affirmations and visualizations, they work best when we take action. We can't just think positive thoughts, we got to do something to back it up.
So it's about connecting thought and action. What are some practical ways to do that?
Start by setting small goals that align with your new beliefs. If you want to be more abundant, try being more generous. If you want to feel worthy of love, practice self-compassion.
I love that. It's all about taking those baby steps, proving to ourselves that we're serious about this change.
And as you start taking action, you might notice some resistance. Those old limiting beliefs, they might try to sneak back in.
I know those voices all too well. How do we deal with those moments of self-sabotage?
Remember the catch and replace technique. That's your go-to move. As soon as you notice a negative thought, bam, replace it with something positive, an affirmation, a belief that empowers you.
It's like having a mental shield to deflect those negative vibes.
And be patient with yourself. This is a journey, not a sprint. There will be ups and downs, moments of doubt, times when you want to give up. Just keep practicing, keep learning, and you'll get there.
This has been an incredible conversation. I feel like I have so many new tools to work with now.
I'm so glad to hear that. And remember, you have everything you need to create the life you want. So go out there, challenge those limiting beliefs, and make those dreams a reality.
That's a wrap for this deep dive, everyone. We hope you enjoyed exploring the world of limiting beliefs with us. Remember, you are worthy, you are capable, and you are so much more powerful than you think. Until next time, keep diving deep and keep reaching for the stars.